Ever since this happened, Halloween just hasn't been the same for me. My wife and I, we love Halloween, and I mean love it. We literally spend thousands of dollars on decorations each October. Our entire front yard is converted into a fake graveyard. The trees we hang skeletons from, and even in our driveway, we hired this artist to sculpt Pennywise riding a motorcycle from stone. Yeah, we're obsessed, and most likely will go broke one day for not investing that money. Besides decorating our house like crazy, we also host a massive Halloween party. We have it in our backyard. We light a bonfire, we play Halloween movies on a projector, we cater food, have spooky competitions, and even hire a band. But since the incident happened, things just haven't been the same. We were hosting our Halloween party last year, and well over 100 people came. We always send out invites on Facebook and encourage our friends to bring other friends and significant others. Since our invitations are so broad, usually we have people come who me and my wife have never met, which is cool because we love meeting people who share our love for Halloween. And the good thing about these parties, we live in a secluded area with farmland surrounding us. We don't really have neighbors, so we can party all night as loud as we want with no complaints. So last year, the party was rocking as usual. All of our guests are dressed in spooky costumes and having a great time. I'm speaking with some guests when this young lady, probably in her early 20s, comes up to me. She was dressed as Snow White, and I had personally never seen her before, which isn't uncommon at my parties. She comes up to me and asks if she's able to go inside and use our bathroom. I said of course, and told her where it was inside. After I tell her, I get back to my conversation with my other guests. We were talking about our favorite kill scenes when I hear someone at the party scream and laugh at the same time. Then I hear someone say, "Look at that." I look over and see one of my wife's friends laughing and pointing up at my house. She was pointing at the top right window where our bathroom was. I looked up and saw the light was turned on in the bathroom, and the girl who was Snow White had her head sort of propped up on the windowsill, looking down at us and smiling. A couple other people looked up at the smiling Snow White and started to laugh too. I guess we all thought it was some kind of Halloween moment, because her smile did look creepy. Just then, I had another guest come up to me, saying they went inside to use the bathroom, but the door was locked. I looked up at the window where Snow White was still staring down at us and smiling. I get that she wanted to be creepy and all, but I decided that I had to go inside and tell her to stop, because others had to use the bathroom. I go in and try to unlock the door. It's still locked, and I knock on it, asking if everything is alright in there. No response. I pound the door even harder. I try to listen, and I don't hear any movement. I go and grab a key to unlock it and open the door. I'll try to be as respectful as I can here, but when I opened the door, I walked into a nightmare. The girl who was Snow White, her body and head was propped up on the windowsill, not because she was trying to be creepy or funny, it's because she was placed that way purposely. What I mean by that is, there were stab wounds all over her body, and her face had been carved in at the edges of her mouth, giving her this grotesque, forced smile, sort of like the Joker. To make a long story short, this girl, whose name I come to find out was Isabella, was murdered by her ex-partner. When she had entered our house to go to the bathroom, she was followed by her ex and slaughtered in our bathroom. We have cameras all over our property and inside of our house, which we all gave over to the detectives. Isabella was only 22. Out of respect for her and her family, we've since stopped throwing our Halloween parties. It's hard to celebrate and have fun, knowing there was a murder inside of your house. To me, Halloween isn't the same now, and I don't think it ever will be. And every Halloween, I have a tradition. In the morning, I will go out to breakfast at some new cafe or diner in the area. It's something my dad would do with me as a kid before he passed away, and now I do it as a way to remember and honor him. Well, when I go, I always go with another friend or family member. And in the story, I was at the waterfront cafe with my good friend, Jason. It was early morning on Halloween, and we were both eating our food, drinking coffee, and discussing our plans for the night. The whole time we were there, our waitress kept giving me the eyes. She would come over and make it very obvious that she was interested in me. She grabbed her hair, looked at me up and down, and even squeezed my arm after I told her a really corny joke. And she was cute, by the way. She was this short, blonde girl with an hourglass shape and clear blue eyes. When the check came, I saw that there was a note on it. It said, "Happy Halloween, call me." I literally thought I scored the jackpot and left a 30% tip. When I got home from the cafe, I texted her. Her name was Charlotte. She was texting me back almost immediately. We texted for a bit, and she was making it very obvious that she wanted to hang out that night. We made plans for her to come around 8 p.m. We would give out candy at my place and then watch a Halloween movie, and maybe even hopefully she would spend the night. It's 8 p.m. on the dot, and I'm in my living room, already eating candy and watching a horror movie. I got a text from Charlotte saying she's here, and hear my front door knock. Excited, I get up to answer it. I open the door and Charlotte is standing there. She came dressed as what I had to guess was the girl version of Indiana Jones. She had on tight shorts, wore this cowboy hat, had a whip over her shoulders, and a gun holstered at her side. She looked freaking hot. I stepped aside and told her to come in. She smiled and pulled the gun from her holster and then pointed it at me. I laughed because I thought she was really getting into character. I told her nice prop gun and told her to come in, but she didn't take a step. She kept staring at me, the gun still aimed, and said, "It's not a prop." She proceeded to discharge the magazine, show me there were live rounds in it, and then put it back and cocked it. Just then, two men who I guess I didn't see came in who were hiding on either side of my front door. They also had guns and were dressed as cowboys. I seriously couldn't comprehend what the situation was. The one cowboy told me to stand in the corner as he tied my wrist together with a zip tie. I watched as all three of them started taking everything from my house. They were in and out within 10 minutes. As they were leaving, Charlotte came up to me as I was crouched in the corner, whispered "Happy Halloween" into my ear, and then left with the two of them. I saw them drive away in some van they had parked off to the side. I seriously was in a dreamlike state, and it wasn't until I was alone for 5 minutes before the weight of reality came crashing down on me, and I cried. When I could breathe again, I called 911. Now get this. Obviously, I told police where Charlotte worked and how they should be able to find her there. The next day, police went into that cafe to speak with her, but management said she had quit on Halloween Day. She had only been working there for 2 weeks. This happened almost 5 years ago, and Charlotte and the two other men were never caught. My guess is they go from city to city, flirt with men, and then rob them. And to my knowledge, they haven't been caught. They ended up stealing about $5,000 worth of stuff from my place. I still go out to breakfast every Halloween morning, but I'll be damned if I ever let a waitress flirt with me again. This happened last year on Halloween night. I live in a pretty big suburban neighborhood. We have a lot of new and young families, so I get tons of trick-or-treaters every year. Seriously, they start at like 6 p.m. and I'll get some who come past 10. And I don't mind it at all, because I love giving out candy and seeing what kind of costumes the kids will be wearing. It was around 7 p.m., and maybe every 3 minutes my doorbell is ringing with trick-or-treaters. I go to answer the door this time, and it's only one kid who was wearing this Grim Reaper costume. He was sort of hunched over at the back. He had some black mask on where the eyes were glowing red. At first I thought he was a kid, but as I stared a bit longer, he kind of had the build of an adult. I thought this was pretty strange that an adult would be out trick-or-treating, but I guess I couldn't prove that he was an adult, and he could have been a child with a back condition. Nonetheless, I gave him some candy and told him to have a good Halloween. About 20 minutes go by and the traffic had been dying down to a steady pace. I opened the door, and it's that same kid, or adult again, wearing the Grim Reaper's costume. I was hesitant and asked them, "Weren't you already here?" The Grim Reaper didn't say a word and just held out their candy bag, which I saw was pretty full. Not wanting to argue, I just gave in and put more candy into his bag. The last trick-or-treater I got was around 9:30, and when my doorbell stopped ringing, I shut off my front porch lights, effectively telling my neighborhood that I was closed for business. But for me, this is just where my night gets started. AMC and Freeform will play all Halloween classics throughout the night. I had my candy and soda and sat in my living room like a little kid and watched my horror movies. I had gotten up to use the bathroom, came back into the living room, and saw a face staring at me through my window. I actually screamed. It was some really old guy. His face had deep wrinkles, and he only had like 8 teeth. He wasn't trying to hide or anything, and was just full on staring at me through my window. I could see that it was wearing all black and had a sickle, just like the Grim Reaper did from earlier. He motioned his thumb to his throat and swept, indicating a slicing motion. Then he held up the Grim Reaper mask he had been wearing. I run to my closet real quick and pull out my Louisville Slugger bat. When I get back to my living room, the man was gone. I open my front door and run outside. I went to the spot he had been standing at and didn't see him anywhere. I searched my whole property but found nothing. I went back to where he was standing one last time and found something. It was a note written on some really old parchment. All it said was, "Happy Halloween, Mike." How this old-ass man knew my name was beyond me. I went inside and locked my entire house up. I couldn't watch my horror movies anymore because I felt like I was living in one. Halloween is coming up very soon this year, and I just pray to God whoever he was doesn't return.